Da det kjekt å ønske deg velkommen til min podcast, eller skal vi si videocast, for at jeg bruker også en del visuelt i mine podcaster. I dag har jeg blitt inspirert av Magnus Nord, og det sikkert mange av dere som har blitt gjennom de siste årene. Utrolig utviklings- og forskningsarbeid de driver med, og som man gjør sammen med Odin Nøsen. Så det de her presenterer i dag, det altså det beste KI-verktøyet til nå. En tjeneste fra Google, og det heter da altså NotebookLK. Her kan du laste opp dokumenter, og så kan du få 2 personer til å ha en samtale om det som disse 2 dokumentene handler om. Jeg skal finne de frem. Det er 2 enkle PDF-dokumenter. Det ene heter Barn og Læring. Dette er et leserinnlegg som jeg skrev i fjor høst. Og så har jeg noe som heter PISA, P for panikk. Det skjer så mye politisk rundt skole, og så mye usikkerhet. Og alle PISA-undersøkelser ser ut som, nå lager de panikk, nå må vi gjøre noe. Men det ser ikke ut som at det er så mye enighet om hva de skal gjøre, og hvor de skal sette inn sine tiltak. Så det jeg tenkte jeg skulle gjøre da, det var å få diskutert disse 2 PDF-dokumentene mine. 4 sider, knapt nok det. Så det jeg gjorde, det var å laste de opp her. Og dette programmet så langt er kun på engelsk. Så her står det Redefining Reading in the Digital Age. Det er altså redefinering lesing i vår digitale verden. Og det tok noen minutter, og så var dette klar til en podcast. Så kan du høre litt grann her. Den er altså 13 minutter 43 sekunder, og er 2 personer, en mannlig og en kvinnelig, og de diskuterer da på bakgrunn av mine 2 norske PDF-dokumenter. Jeg skal spille av litt grann, så du får litt føling med det. Mange vil gjerne synes at det går veldig fort, men det jeg skal gjøre etterpå, det jeg skal hente ut teksten, og så skal jeg legge den inn i denne videoen på norsk, sånn at det går an å følge for den som føler seg litt utrygg på engelsk. Men la oss høre litt grann på hvordan dette tar seg ut.
Welcome everyone, ready to dive deep into learning and language. We'll be exploring some pretty cool ideas about how we learn, how technology is changing, what reading even means, and what it all means for you.
Yeah, it's not just about keeping up with the latest gadgets. It's understanding the deeper shifts in how we process information and prepare for the future.
Exactly. To guide us, we have excerpts from 2 sources.
Okay.
One is Læring,
Which
translates to children and learning.
Right.
And the other is an opinion piece, PISA, P for panic, by Haldor Lunningdal.
Okay.
He's a retired teacher with some strong opinions about the future of education.
They both grapple with the challenges and opportunities of learning in a digital age.
Yeah.
Da pauser jeg den. Og det jeg nå skal gjøre, det jeg skal da ta og laste ned denne lydfilen. Og så skal jeg få den oversatt til norsk tekst og sette den inn i denne videoen. Så kan vi følge med på altså hvordan du som eksempel kan sette inn et tema. La oss si at du har engelsk i 7. klasse, 9. klasse eller i videregående. Så kan du sette inn tekst, og så kan du få denne teksten diskutert. Det kan være fakta, det kan være litteratur, det kan være politikk. Det er du som prøver dette ut. Dette er gratis. Og det er en spennende verden. Og jeg er sikker på at det er ikke lenge før vi faktisk også kan få 2 norske stemmer her, som stemmer i og diskuterer det du velger å legge opp her på norsk. Så nå skal vi ta det fra start, og da også med teksting.
Welcome everyone, ready to dive deep into learning and language. we'll be exploring some pretty cool ideas about how we learn, how technology is changing, what reading even means, and what it all means for you.
Yeah, it's not just about keeping up with the latest gadgets. It's understanding the deeper shifts in how we process information and prepare for the future.
Exactly. To guide us, we have excerpts from two sources.
Okay.
One is Barn Og Læring,
Which means,
which translates to children and learning.
Right.
And the other is an opinion piece, Pisa, P for Panic, by Haldor Lunningdal.
Okay.
He's a retired teacher with some strong opinions about the future of education.
they both grapple with the challenges and opportunities of learning in a digital age.
Yeah.
Barn Og Læring, for example, really emphasizes that early learning foundation. It compares learning to building blocks, each concept building on the last.
So if a child misses like a key concept early on, it creates a gap that can impact their learning later on.
Precisely, the source refers to it as creating holes in math, which can have a ripple effect across other subjects.
Wow.
It highlights why early childhood education and family support are so crucial.
That makes total sense. It's like trying to build a skyscraper on a shaky foundation.
Exactly.
It's just not going to work.
Yeah.
But tell me, how does language fit into all of this?
Well, Barn Og Læring stresses that language is at the very core of everything. It's not just about speaking and writing. It shapes our identity values and our ability to grasp complex concepts.
So basically, language skills impact our entire life experience.
Absolutely. The more proficient you are in language, the better equipped you are to navigate the world, form relationships, contribute to society. It's fundamental to our human experience.
This actually reminds me of something else from the source, the debate surrounding norsk in Norway.
Oh, yeah.
Can you give us a little background on that?
Sure. You see, norsk is one of the two official written forms of Norwegian,
Okay.
created in the 19th century to establish a distinctly Norwegian language separate from Danish influence.
Interesting.
However, in today's interconnected world, some argue that sticking to one official form, bokmål, would streamline education and communication.
So it's a question of preserving cultural heritage versus adapting to a globalized world.
Exactly. Advocates for norsk emphasize its historical and cultural significance, its connection to local dialects, and its role in fostering Norwegian identity. Critics, however, point to the challenges it presents in a globalized world, particularly in education, and for newcomers to Norway.
Barn Og Læring even questions whether Aeson's original vision for nynorsk might be less relevant now given the widespread use of local dialects.
That's right. It raises a fascinating question. How does language adapt to meet the needs of a changing world while still honoring cultural heritage?
Okay, so we've talked about the building blocks of learning and the vital role of language. Now let's bring in Haldor Lunningdal's perspective from Pisa P for Panic.
This is where things get really intriguing. Lunningdal argues that our traditional understanding of reading is outdated in the digital age.
He doesn't just mean we're reading less, right?
Right. He's saying the ways we engage with information are fundamentally different now.
Okay.
He breaks down reading into 6 types.
6 types.
Textual, multimodal, critical, interactive, hyper, and adaptive.
Okay, I'm all ears. Give me the rundown.
Let's start with textual reading, which is what most people typically think of,
wow.
decoding words on a page or screen.
Yeah.
But even that's evolved,
Right.
because now we're reading on phones, tablets, e-readers. The format itself has become much more dynamic.
Then there's multimodal reading. I'm guessing that has something to do with all the images, videos, and audio we encounter online.
Exactly. Think about a social media post that combines text, a photo, and a video clip. You're processing all those different forms of information simultaneously.
Yeah.
Or an online news article with embedded tweets and interactive graphics. It's a very different experience from reading a traditional print article.
Okay, that makes sense. What about the other 4 types?
Well, critical reading is more important than ever in the digital age where we're bombarded with information from countless sources. It's about being able to evaluate credibility, identify biases, and form your own informed judgments.
So it's not just about absorbing information, it's about questioning it, analyzing it, and deciding what to trust.
Exactly. Then you have interactive reading, which is where you engage with the content directly, leaving comments, participating in forums, even editing a wiki. It's a much more participatory experience than traditional reading.
And how does that differ from hyperreading? They both seem to involve online content.
Hyperreading is more about the ability to follow links, jump between different sources, and delve deeper into a topic based on your own curiosity. Think about clicking on a link in a Wikipedia article that leads you to a whole new avenue of information. It's a nonlinear way of reading that allows you to explore a subject based on your own interests.
So it's like choosing your own adventure through the world of information.
That's a great way to put it. And finally, there's adaptive reading, which is when digital platforms use algorithms to tailor content to your specific preferences, reading level, or past behavior.
That sounds fascinating, but doesn't it also raise concerns about creating filter bubbles and limiting exposure to diverse viewpoints?
It's a valid point. We'll delve into that later. But for now, just think about websites like Bing that personalize your search results, or news feeds that curate stories based on what you've clicked on before.
Okay, I'm starting to see how Lenningdahl is framing this whole PISA panic thing.
Lenningdahl uses the term PISA panic to describe the concern that our current education systems, as evaluated by standardized tests like PISA, which is the Program for International Student Assessment, are not adequately preparing students for the demands of the digital age. He argues that these new forms of reading require a different set of skills than traditional literacy.
So it's not just about reading comprehension anymore, it's about navigating this complex, multi-layered information landscape.
Precisely. And that leads us to another crucial point raised in both sources, the growing anxiety surrounding the rise of artificial intelligence and its potential impact on education. Before the break, we were discussing how technology, and specifically AI, is sparking a lot of anxiety in the education world. Are we truly preparing students for a future where AI could potentially automate many tasks we currently rely on humans for?
Yeah, it's a valid question. I mean, when we think about the 6 types of reading you outlined, it seems like our brains are constantly being rewired by all this digital input.
That's an excellent observation. It's not just about acquiring new skills, it's about fundamental changes in how we process information, how we think, and even how we interact with the world.
It's like kids today are learning in an entirely different dimension. They're not just sitting in classrooms absorbing information from textbooks. They're exploring virtual worlds, collaborating on projects online, multiple devices and streams of information. It's mind-boggling.
And yet, amidst all this change, Læring emphasizes that strong language skills are crucial for harnessing AI's power effectively and ethically.
So it's not about fearing AI, it's about learning how to use it to our advantage.
Precisely. Instead of worrying about AI replacing teachers, we should be thinking about how it can empower them. Imagine AI tutors that can adapt to each student's individual learning style and pace, providing personalized support and guidance.
Or AI-powered tools that can analyze student work and pinpoint areas where they need more practice or help. It could revolutionize how we approach education.
Exactly. And it's not just about classrooms. Think about how AI can make learning more accessible to people of all ages and backgrounds. Online learning platforms, language translation tools, personalized learning apps, these are all powered by AI, and they're breaking down barriers to education that have existed for centuries. It's truly remarkable.
But of course, with any powerful tool, we need to consider the ethical implications. How do we ensure AI is used responsibly in education and that it doesn't exacerbate existing inequalities? How do we protect student privacy and data security in this new landscape?
Those are critical questions. We need to be incredibly thoughtful and intentional about how we integrate AI into learning environments, ensuring it serves humanity, not the other way around.
And that brings us back to the core of everything we've been discussing, the importance of language.
Læring states that language is more than just a tool for communication. It's the foundation of our shared humanity. It allows us to express our thoughts and feelings, build relationships, understand different perspectives, and create culture.
And in a world that's becoming increasingly digital and automated, those human skills are more valuable than ever. It's not enough to just be tech savvy. We need to be able to communicate effectively, think critically, empathize with others, and use language to bridge divides.
Absolutely. We need to ensure language education keeps pace with the evolving ways we communicate and interact. That means embracing new forms of literacy, developing critical thinking skills, and fostering a love of language that goes beyond simply mastering grammar rules or vocabulary lists.
It's about empowering students to become articulate communicators, critical thinkers, and engaged citizens who can navigate the complexities of the digital world with confidence and compassion.
And who can use their voices to shape a future where technology serves humanity, not the other way around.
Now, before we move on, we'd love to hear from you, the listener. Have you noticed changes in the way you read, learn, or communicate in recent years? What skills do you think are most essential for success in today's rapidly changing world?
We're all on this learning journey together, and your insights are incredibly valuable.
In the final part of our deep dive, we'll explore some specific strategies and resources that can help you navigate this evolving landscape of learning and language. So stay with us. Welcome back to the final part of our deep dive. We've covered a lot of ground, from the building blocks of learning to the mind-blowing ways technology is shaping how we read and what it even means to read these days.
And as we think about all these changes, what's really struck me is the theme of empowerment. It's not about being swept away by the current, but about learning to navigate these shifts and use them to our advantage.
That's a great point. So how do we do that? How do we equip ourselves with the skills and mindsets needed to thrive in this constantly evolving world?
It all starts with embracing lifelong learning. The idea of finishing school and calling it a day is outdated. We need to constantly seek out new knowledge, expand our skill sets, and adapt to new technologies and ways of thinking.
Lifelong learning. I love that. It's not about cramming our brains full of facts, but about cultivating curiosity and a thirst for knowledge that will serve us well no matter what the future throws our way.
Exactly. And the amazing thing is we have more resources at our fingertips than ever before. Online learning platforms like Coursera EDX and Khan Academy offer courses on almost any topic imaginable, often for free or very low cost.
And let's not forget about libraries. They're not just about dusty books anymore. Many offer access to digital resources, online databases, and even makerspaces where you can learn practical skills and experiment with new technologies.
And then there's the power of community. Surround yourself with people who are also passionate about learning and exploring new ideas. Join a book club, attend a workshop, participate in online forums. There are so many ways to connect with others and learn from their experiences.
It really does feel like we're all part of this giant interconnected learning network, constantly sharing knowledge and insights.
We are. And as we navigate this increasingly digital world, it's also important to remember the value of face-to-face interactions. Don't underestimate the power of a good conversation, the shared laughter and genuine connection that comes from interacting with others in person.
So true. It's about finding that balance, isn't it? Embracing the incredible opportunities technology offers while also nurturing those essential human connections. Speaking of essential skills, I want to circle back to language. Both Barn, Læring, and Lenningdahl emphasize strong language skills as crucial for navigating our complex world, understanding different perspectives, and even for harnessing the power of AI.
Absolutely. So how do we strengthen our own language skills or help our children develop theirs?
Well, it has to start with reading, right?
It does. Read widely, read deeply, read things that challenge you and expand your horizons. And don't limit yourself to just one format. Explore books, articles, blogs, podcasts, even social media posts. Expose yourself to different writing styles and voices.
And don't forget about writing. Putting our thoughts into words helps us clarify our thinking, refine our ideas, and develop our own unique voice.
Exactly. Practice writing in different styles and for different purposes. Write a blog post, a compelling email, a thoughtful letter to a friend. The more you write, the more confident and articulate you become.
And of course, there's no substitute for conversation. Engage in meaningful discussions with people from diverse backgrounds and perspectives. Listen actively, ask thoughtful questions, and be willing to share your own ideas and experiences.
It's through these interactions that we truly broaden our understanding of the world and develop our capacity for empathy and compassion.
As we wrap up our deep dive, I want to leave you with this thought. The future of learning and language is not something happening to us. It's something we're actively creating together.
That's such an important point.
By embracing lifelong learning, cultivating a curious and adaptable mindset, and nurturing our love of language, we can empower ourselves and future generations to thrive in this world that never stops changing. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into learning and language.
It's been a pleasure.
Og hvis du synes dette var interessant og utfordrende, prøv det selv. Det er gratis.